In this video from backyardideas.org, we're going to go over how to throw a great backyard barbecue. Before we get into that, if you go to our actual website at backyardideas.org/subscribe, you can join our newsletter to get free content and updates directly to your inbox. You also get our free full ebook about how to get started with organic gardening. So in this ebook, you'll learn how to plan your garden, how to prepare your soil, how to control weeds organically, and also how to make your own compost, as well as a bunch of other stuff. So, first of all, to throw a great backyard barbecue, the first thing you have to do is choose a date, obviously. And, there's a lot of things that you can replace with a barbecue versus just having a regular old birthday party or something like that. You can make things a lot funner, make the whole event more enjoyable by having it outdoors as long as weather permits and having a barbecue. So you can use these things that come up regularly, like an anniversary, a reunion, or a graduation. And at the same time, you don't need a reason either. Everyone likes coming to a barbecue. Usually Saturdays and Sundays work best. The most people that you invite will be able to come usually on those 2 days, generally on the weekend. And then one thing is you want to give your guests at least a week notice, but not longer than 2 because people forget longer than that. A week away is usually the best time frame to tell somebody about a barbecue that you're going to have. So as far as planning your menu, the easiest thing to do is to make it a potluck. You do something like you grill the meat and take care of drinks, and then you have your guests each bring a side dish or a dessert. And that's a good way of just getting a really varied mixture of food that everyone can eat. The other thing that you want to do is you want to tell guests, when you do let them know about the barbecue, you want to make sure you ask them about any allergies or special diet considerations. And once you do that, you can deal with that however you want. You can, find out from everyone. If you're going to have 3 people that are vegetarians coming, you'll probably want some vegetables to grill, or you can tell each of them, to bring their own vegetarian meal in a Tupperware, just however you want to deal with that. But you should find those things out ahead of time. And the other thing that you want to keep in mind is you don't want to overcomplicate things. It's really hard to beat just burgers and hot dogs, for a backyard barbecue. Everyone likes that. It's delicious. It's hard to mess up. So you don't need to try to reinvent the wheel and put on some award-winning event at your house. Now, having said that, it is always fun to try new recipes, or especially with barbecuing and smoking meats. Smoking meats is one of the most forgiving, easy to master cooking techniques there is, and it's one of the most delicious. So you do want to practice, though. There definitely a lot of things can go wrong when you're smoking meat, such as ribs or brisket or entire chickens, stuff like that. So you should do a test run or 2 before you actually invite guests over if you've never done it before. And the same goes with side dishes that you haven't ever made. You want to keep Murphy's Law in mind, that anything that can go wrong will, especially on the day of. If you've never tried a side dish before, just assume that something will go wrong and that you'll screw it up. So you should probably try out any new recipes ahead of time. Okay, now when it comes to that, there are a lot of just foolproof side dishes that you can have at a barbecue that people almost kind of expect to have at a barbecue. Things like potato salad, homemade macaroni and cheese, funeral potatoes, Doritos, or other kinds of chips, but everyone likes Doritos, and they're by far the best chips anyways. Baked beans, and then fresh fruit salad. Especially having some type of fresh fruit that really rounds out the heaviness of barbecue, and so that's always a good thing to have. Now, as far as contingency plans, which you might want to think about, there's always going to be somebody picky that's impossible to please. So there's a few things that all picky people like, and those are things like Doritos and macaroni salad. The same goes for your meat. You might be the best barbecuer, slow and low cooker in your state, And there's always going to be some complainer that wants a hot dog, even if you can cook the perfect brisket. So don't waste time trying to please those people. Have one package of hot dogs that you can burn for them. As far as drinks, the only real rule of thumb, you can decide what kind of drinks you're going to have. The only rule of thumb here is that you can't have too many. And, the nice thing about drinks is if your guests don't drink everything that you have, drinks don't really go bad. You can use them throughout the next few weeks. So that's really the only rule. Having too few is just kind of a catastrophe. So make sure you have more than enough drinks. And so again, if you want more content like this, sent directly to your inbox as it's published, you can go to our site at backyardideas.org/subscribe. You can, if you're on YouTube actually watching this video, you can just go to the description below and click the link and you'll be taken to the subscribe page and you'll get our free ebook on how to get started with organic gardening.